Hey guys, happy Gemini Day. I wanted to drop a quick video to give my first thoughts on the new Gemini firmware. Been riding it for a couple hours now, messing around on the XR. If you just figured out what this Gemini stuff is, it's a new firmware for the Onewheel. It introduces a new custom mode. It's called custom. So if you swipe through your other modes and you get past delirium, you're going to get a new mode called custom. And you get sliders. You actually get to dial in some of the stats on your board. A lot of people, like me, right from the very beginning was saying, why can't we have more access in the software? A little more control, some ability to mess with some of these stats. They finally listened. Not everything I would have liked to have had, but it's a great start. I'm happy that they've listened to the consumers and given us a little bit of control. They've taken away our battery stats, but now we can mess with our stats a little bit. And we got a really nice extra bonus that I'll mention last. You need to go to either App Store or Google Play Store, update your Onewheel software for your device. And once you have your device updated, go connect to your board and it will prompt you to do the update. Do the update. Like they said, if you haven't seen Future Motion's video yet, I'll go through it briefly. You want to set your phone on your board so you have the closest best Bluetooth connection to your board and then start the process. It should take about 3 to 5 minutes. It should update your board and then you're good to go. First off, you're going to see the very first slider is for carvability. They say that it's kind of like a tight trucks, loose trucks feel. Now I have taken it all the way to minimum and I've taken it all the way to maximum, and so far I really can't tell the difference. So I'm going to give it some more time, but I want to give you my first impressions day one. So far, I don't see what it's doing to the board. Now, your elevation is nice, and I ride a lot of trails and things like that. You may have never had this, but I've had a couple boards that would tend to ride a little bit low or a little bit high for no reason. So having that ability to dial it in instead of just going straight to elevated mode or regular is great. Love it. Works great. You can dial yourself in a little bit. Like here's a little tip for bonks. If you crank it up a little bit, makes your bonks nicer. Get a little bit. Take them to another level, literally. So play around with that if you like doing bonks and stuff like that. The elevated thing's pretty self-explanatory. It's easy. It works great. The most interesting part, I think, so far is the aggression mode. Now, this you will feel a difference. Take it all the way down to minimum, and I like it. I like it all the way at minimum, and I like it all the way at maximum. All the way at minimum, you get a very low aggression. On the aggression stat. Imagine you're taking your board, and let's see if this flips correctly. If you're riding along and you go aggressive, harsh movements of your wheel. I'm on the lowest aggression mode now. It's kind of soft and mellow. It's not super aggressive. I hate to keep using the word aggressive, but it's a pretty good word that they've used because it gives a sense of pushing hard into things. So like right now I'm on the lowest setting, so it may be hard to kind of see what's going on here, but it's still correcting. It's doing everything it's supposed to do, but it's not pushing so hard at me. I like that. I like it for something, for doing some tricks and things like that. I don't want it quite so snappy underneath my feet. I want it to have a little bit of give. Now you crank it up all the way, and it does go all the way to 11. You can literally crank it up to 11. I've noticed it does consume a lot more battery. You've got a more delirium-ish feel as you crank up the aggression. It's very snappy. It really picks back up underneath your feet. If you're climbing hills, if you want that extra grunt, if you're a heavy rider, you're probably going to push it a lot more towards the aggression stat. I noticed trying to climb hills and grass with the low aggression, the nose wants to dip. It takes the extra few fractions of a second to pick back up. If you hit a dip in the road that's unexpected, if you notice on delirium versus mission, it'll really kind of pick you up. It'll grunt. You can actually hear the board running in delirium versus mission. And that's what you get when you crank the aggression stat up. You'll notice that. You'll sense it once you play with it. So I really like that. This is a great dial ability, characteristic behavior of the board. I like it. Now, the thing I said I was going to mention last that I think a lot of people are going to be really happy about is people have been complaining for a long time about pushback. Pushback, especially on the XR with the latest firmware, is very aggressive, very harsh. Right at 15 miles an hour, you're Captain Morganing, the board pitches up really hard, and you have to push hard to counter that pushback, which is dangerous, and it obviously consumes more energy for the board to lift the front, especially when you're pushing hard against it. So to get past 15 miles an hour was annoying, it was fatiguing, and they have listened, it seems. To me, it feels like it is kicking in later, and it's much more mellow. So it seems to be kicking in at about 16 miles an hour, or very gently at 15, but more like you feel it and notice it at 16 miles an hour rather than 15. And when it kicks in, it's less pronounced. I can very gently kind of push up to 16, 18. I have to push a little harder to get to like 19. You start to feel it more then, but you're going to notice a much more general pushback characteristic. So be careful. If you're used to that harsh 15 and that's your speed limit, you may look down at your app and realize, oops, I went 16, 17 and didn't realize it. Keep that in mind and enjoy it. And let me know what you guys think. This is just day one. I've only spent, maybe an hour and a half riding it, about half a charge on an XR, playing around with it, doing some tricks, going high speed a little bit. And so far, I like the adjustability. I've seen people already complaining online that it doesn't have any more power. I don't know that it was intended to. It's giving adjustability. It's giving control. There's not really unlocking any power that I've noticed, anything like that. Even under aggression mode, I don't feel like it's unlocked any extra power. I just feel like you have more control. So let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to fill you in a little bit, give you a little bit of my opinion on it. I don't see a reason not to download it. Get it and leave me something in the comments. Let me know what you think. A new Gemini update.